Brown, and I'm the founder of the Free Soil Arts Collective. This is our December episode of the Vital Voices series presented by Enterprise Bank. So every month from September to February, we are spotlighting a local artist of color and learning more about their journey and what it means to be a vital voice in the Merrimack Valley. We have lots of people to thank for making this possible. Our presenting sponsor, Enterprise Bank, of course, who's helping to pay for every single artist that we speak to and supporting this series as we expand. We also have to thank Studio 26 Associates, a Black-owned architecture firm based in Lowell, Massachusetts, BRM Production Management, and Nyende Thurman. So thanks again to Enterprise Bank for making this possible. We love you. So today we're speaking with Sam Stevquoah, and I'm going to read your bio real quick, Sam, so you can revel in your accomplishments.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just go to the right part. Okay. So born and raised in Lowell from Liberian, West African refugee parents, Sam Stevquoah has had an insatiable urge to create stories. This skill would eventually lead him to attain his bachelor's degree in computer animation in 2010 from Mount Ida College in Newton, Massachusetts. Sam has since formed his own arts and entertainment company called Active Fantasy Productions, based in Lowell, Massachusetts, and launched an online shop store for the studio's flagship project, Mill City's Finest. MCF has been widely featured among popular blog sites within the comic book fandom and has even caught the attention of the Lowell Sun. Sam hopes to use his talents to pay homage to his hometown and culture and inspire other aspiring creators to have confidence in their ideas. Welcome, Sam. We're so happy to have you.
Hi, happy to be here. This is awesome.
Great. So for folks out there who may not know, can you explain what Mill City's Finest is?
Yeah, so Mill City's Finest is a fantasy adventure comic book. Actually features a Lowell superhero, so this is Lowell's first superhero. Me being a native from Lowell, I've always found out that, why isn't there a superhero from Lowell? Meeting a whole bunch of locals in the city, that was always a very popular question. Why isn't there a superhero from Lowell? So I decided to make that comic book that. So here we are.
I love it. So what was your journey to making this happen? I know people like me didn't follow comic books, don't know what it takes to kind of create them. So how did you first start?
I first started pretty much on my own. I want to say around probably I was 13 or so. I would always draw these stories, and I would create my own stories in these 5-star notebooks. And then I would just pass them out to kids in my neighborhood, and they would all really resonate with it. So they'll always be when's the next issue coming out, this and that. So I always had a passion of drawing and making stories. And from there, I decided, I want to do this professionally. So I decided to meet with a whole bunch of artists, different artists in the community. I started off with one artist, and we created a great rapport. We have a great chemistry. And then we started with our first superhero, which is Momalu. He's on the poster right here. And, that was the first step, is I needed to find an artist that could really bring this character to life. And so once we did that, the rest was easy. We started with the character, then we started with the story and the plot, and, we started writing scripts, and fast forward, here we are.
Oh, it's amazing. Because I think a lot of us see the finished product and we don't really think about everything that it takes to go into it.
Right.
Could you talk a little bit about your process? So once you came up with the idea, what did you have to do to make that what we see today?
So I first had to understand how to make a comic book and what it takes to, all the ins and outs of production with a comic book. Because like I was saying before, I didn't really have much experience myself with making comic books. I kind of learned it on the way, on the go. So I found out that, first, of course, you got to create a script. And the experience that I had with making scripts before was more catered towards animation, because animation was more so my passion. It's more so what I wanted to get into. But I noticed while working with different artists that an animation script is not the same as a comic book script. So I was frustrating a lot of the artists in the beginning, because I would write my scripts with, camera angles and all these different things that it's more catered towards film. And they're like, what? Where do we even start with this? And so I found out that I had to, I have to describe it as panels. So when you go through the comic book, you see the different panels on each page. So that can tell the artist what illustration and how everything breaks down. So that's how I started from there. I learned it on the way. And then, this is our second comic book out right now. So the first one was really a big learning process. And I feel like with each issue, we got better and we got better and we got better. And it seems to be that way because a lot of the audience tends to resonate with this. A lot of the feedback tends to be really positive, saying that, oh, the art keeps getting better. And it's like, yeah, we're growing, we're learning, and that's part of the process,
That's great. And I know you said you kind of were bitten by the animation bug in high school.
Yeah.
Was it anything like, was it this crazy occurrence that happened? You're like, oh, this is what I meant to do, or like, how did that go about?
I mean, like I started doing it in high school, but I mean, it depends on who you ask. If you ask my mom, she'll tell you like, oh, I've been doing this since I was like 5. Because according to her, I would like draw all over the walls and everything like that. So I mean, I've always been into animation and art and illustration and all that kind of stuff. So like in high school, that's when I decided to do it on my own. But then after that's when I started to do it professionally. But it's tough to really know what inspired me. It's just one of those things that I just loved. It's always one of those things that it's just my passion. And I feel like that's what makes it easier to continue on this path is when you love something, everything else just comes easy. I constantly am getting asked the question like, how do you keep doing this, Sam? Like, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay dedicated to doing this? And I was like, I just love this. I just love it, man. I don't see myself doing anything else but this. So everything else just comes easy.
I love that. I really think if people follow their passion, that's the most sustainable thing to do something that you love, and then it doesn't feel as like, I mean, stressful days do come, but I feel like that passion is really grounding when you might feel not motivated.
Right, right.
That's great. So we're talking a lot about your comic book, what it looks like, but I think we'd love to see maybe some, not behind the scenes, but we'd love to see some photos of other images that you have to talk a little bit more about the comic book. So I'm going to have you share your screen and kind of walk us through. You might be able to do it now. Do you want to
All right, let's check it out. All right. Is everyone seeing my screen?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to make this full screen here. Perfect. All right, so Mill City's Finest, here we go. So I mean, a couple of things. If you guys want to follow us, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MCF Series. You'll get all the updates as to what's happening. MCFseries.com is our website. So we have merch there, blogs, everything about characters and so on. So if you definitely want to check that out, visit our social media sites. So I mean, a little bit, we touched on like the timeline and everything like that about Mill City's Finest. So like I said, it's a new action adventure story featuring a little superhero. So the mission behind this was to always like encourage more diverse storytelling. I've always wanted to see more people of color, more diverse ethnicities out there, especially in the superhero genre and especially in animation. So I decided to make this to tell a little bit more about my story. I was born in Lowell, Massachusetts. So I'm a native, but I come from West African parents. My parents were born and raised in Liberia, West Africa. So I made sure that a lot of the mythology and lore had to do with our main character from Liberia, West Africa. So a little bit about our timeline and history. So like I was already mentioning a little bit before, we started off really interested in animation. In 2017, we dropped our first trailer on Facebook video. And that's when I knew we really had something because it reached over 150,000 views in like less than a month of release. And that's when, like I mentioned speaking with the animation team and everyone involved. And then everyone was so excited, like, at first we were just thinking that this would be like a little local thing, that it wouldn't be anything big, but it turned out that a lot of people were interested in this and that it could really go somewhere. So the reason why we shifted from doing animation into comic books is because, I mean, one, the capital to doing animation by yourself is really tough and challenging. So we decided to, create content, and to create comic books was a little bit more budget cost friendly, and to at the same time being able to get our content out to audiences so they can be able to enjoy it. So whenever we do reach that platform where we're out at animation and you're seeing it everywhere and it's at the quality that you'd like to see, the stories will already be there. There'll be stories for people to see, and they'll be adapted from. So let's keep on going here. So I wanted to show people a little bit about the setting. Let's talk about the setting of Mill City's Finest. For those who don't know, Mill City is based largely off of Lowell, Massachusetts. Like I said, Lowell is where I was born. And what's special about Lowell is it preserves a lot of his architecture from the 1820s, being as an old mill town. So I really wanted to showcase a lot of the different aspects of Lowell. I really wanted that to pop out. And I remember working with the artist, and I had to kind of break down this traditional mold cliche that most artists tend to get into, was when they do a landscape or a setting, it's often like New York, or it looks like Chicago. There's a lot of tall skyscrapers and everything like that. And it tends to be like the cliche for superhero stories. And I was like, not all superhero stories have to be like that. It can be based on the setting from where the character is from. So I wanted to show, key landmarks like the Green Bridge, the Johnny Cox Memorial Bridge in Lowell. I wanted to do the Sun Building and so on. Those are some of the things that I really wanted to pop out. And with that being said, I wanted to take you guys into that first trailer that was a resounding success, and it was what really kickstarted off everything. Hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties here. Let's see what we got. All right, is the sound coming in clear?
I don't hear anything yet.
Don't hear it. All right, that's what I was thinking. Oh, share computer sound. Let's see here. Skip ahead. Better? All right, so we're going to take it back from the beginning. All right, here we go.
Here, but not that.
What's that?
Here, but I can't. I see the trailer one slide. Is that good?
Oh, are you not seeing the? Oh, I'm on YouTube here. Okay, I may have to have you take the lead. Oh, you know what? New share. I think I might have figured it out. Seeing it? Perfect. It's the new norm, by the way, guys. Technical difficulties. right.
I had chills, like seriously. Oh,
Yeah. So that, what's that?
sorry, I'm just wowing.
Yeah, so that was the first trailer. Like I said, that's when we really knew that we had something here. Um, really exciting to see like the positive feedback from everyone, and really being able to relate to this. Saying, "Oh, I recognize this," and that's a superhero from Lowell and everything like that. So that's when we really knew that we had something.
Mm.
Just wanted to be sure. Are we seeing the presentation again?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome, awesome. So great. So let's talk about some of our characters, right? So here is the main hero, Andre Weah, also known as Momolu. Now, the name Momolu comes from Liberian heritage. I really wanted to be able to come up with a name that was really different from, what traditional superhero names are like, right? Like the Spider-Man, the Superman, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to stay away from the whole man thing and to really hone in into who this character is and where he comes from. So, like I said, Momolu is a Liberian heritage name. It's a unisex name. So going forward, anyone can take the mantle of Momolu. It can be a boy, it can be a girl, it can be anyone. So this is a title that our hero Andre Weah adopts. And some of his powers have a lot to do with spirits and mythology. A lot of the mythology comes from West African mythology. And that's really powerful when it comes to masquerades. For some of you guys that don't know, there's a lot of masquerades that are around in West Africa, from different countries like Nigeria to Sierra Leone to Liberia to Guinea. And who these masquerades are, these people, or they're known as spirits that come around every so often. And they tend to be from the spirit realm. So this is our own take on that. Momolu is a spirit that bonds with Andre Weah, and that's how Andre gets his powers. Who's the villain, right? The villain in the first trailer was this character named Flameshot, and Flameshot is someone who, uh, unlike Andre, wants to use his powers to do whatever he wants to do. He's kind of like a free spirit, if you will. So he's a good antagonist for who Andre is, and in the comic book, we'll get to see what kind of role he plays. So on our first comic book, I really wanted to dive into the culture. Our first comic book was called Expecting a Hero, Expecting a Hero Volume 1, and that was issues 1 through 3. And I talk a lot about the culture and where Andre comes from and everything like that. And before I can really dive into Mill City's finest and who Momolu is, I had to take it back. I decided I wanted to start the story from its roots. And that's pretty much where our story starts off with. I know I talked a little bit about where I come from and my upbringings, being born here in Lowell, Massachusetts, but my parents came from Liberia, West Africa. And the reason why they moved to Lowell was to escape a civil war that was going on. So that's what I pretty much did with this story. I created this story that a family was trying to move from Mill City, but in the midst of that, they lose their son to these rebels, these soldiers and these rebels. So it follows the story of getting their son back and the story of Momolu, who Momolu is, and the roots of his character. So as you can see here, a lot of the illustrations tend to do a lot with West Africa and a lot of that lore. So like I said, we started off with issue 1 that dropped in 2018, and then we did issue 2, and then we did issue 3, and then we just compiled that into one book, Expecting a Hero Volume 1. So here are some of the illustrations from that comic, and that's also available right now on mcfseries.com if you want to cop that. As you can see, we really wanted that culture, the colors, everything like that to pop out, because this was an African story. Before we can get into Mill City and who Andre is, where he's come from, we have to start off from his roots, and that's what you get here. So I ended up doing a book signing, luckily, right before the pandemic hit. This was on March 1st. I was lucky just to get right in there and do my thing before all this craziness happened, right? So this was held at the Mill 5 at Pop Cultured in Lowell, Massachusetts. And it was such a great turnout, seeing so many people from Lowell, from Massachusetts, just come out to see this story and what I've done. So many people of different ages, different colors and ethnicities. Everyone came out to buy a book, to get a hat, and what have you. We had so many different merchandise out there, so it was a great turnout to see everyone there. And as you can see, we had different races, different ages, different nationalities, and it was such a great turnout seeing people. So with that being said, during that book signing, we talked a lot about our next coming book, right? Boom, that's what we're looking at right now. Welcome to Mill City. So we came from, right, Africa, and then they moved. At the conclusion, something happens, right? Eventually they moved to Mill City. This is the start of that. So we decided to come out with another trailer to showcase how the differences between our first trailer was, our first comic book, and then now Welcome to Mill City. So with that being said, I'll jump into the next trailer. All right, and everyone's seeing my screen fine? Good to go. All right, here we go. All right. So there you go, Chris. Your reaction.
Was he saying Catch Me in Lowell?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So the person, the artist that I got to do that was a very close friend of mine, and he's a local artist. And it was amazing because just like the timing was just, I don't know how we just did it. Like he just came out with this new song. I remember seeing it on Snapchat and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to drop a new trailer. Yo, I need that on the trailer. And so he was able to send me the audio, and then the rest is history. But yeah, Catch Me from Lowell. That's what it is. Right.
Really amazing, Sam. We have somebody here on Zoom saying that they wish they could give a standing ovation via Zoom.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
So you've been doing this for how many years now? It's been 3?
It has been, yes, about 3 years since we started the trailer, the first trailer that you guys saw. Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you, and I don't want to cut off your, do you have more things to show us?
I have a few more, but please, yeah, questions. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, in that time, what would you say is your, like, maybe your proudest moment from then to now?
Probably this year. I mean, it's really been a journey. It really has, because I feel like with each year we've grown. Each year has been better than the last, been better than the last, been better than the last. And then this year, by far, it's just been like win after win. And it's I'm really thankful for everyone involved. I'm thankful for all the support and everything. Being featured on the Lowell Sun. I remember starting, and I've always wanted the Lowell Sun to be able to resonate with this. The Lowell paper. And I even had that commercial. I was like, no, we got to have the Sun in there. So the fact that 3 years now they've recognized my work and they support it is just amazing. Though you mentioned before, like seeing me on E for All. A funny story. It was during that time when that picture was up. I wasn't selected to pitch. I wasn't selected as a winner or anything like that. I just had like 30 seconds to talk to the audience, just kind of like a consolation, you know. And you know, fast forward 2 years later, not only did I go back to that same contest, but I won the grand prize. So it's just like, wow, you gotta never stop. You just gotta keep on going, keep on going. And then the Kickstarter and so on. But I mean, I'll get to that. I'll get to that for sure. All right, so we'll keep moving here. All right, so like I said, that was the trailer for Welcome to Mill City. I really wanted to show the differences between from the West African story to now being at the forefront of what this franchise is all about, Mill City, Welcome to Mill City. So we get to see that the whole story centered on Andre Weah and his story being a high school student and growing up and learning about his heritage, his connection to Momolu, who Momolu is, where his powers come from. Because as you know, in the first story, he wasn't born yet, right? So now he's now learning about all his culture and everything like that. So the main plot for Welcome to Mill City is about him and his friends investigating a new criminal who's selling a drug that's giving other people superpowers. So in that journey, he gets to find out what the mystery behind that is, who this criminal is, and a lot about who his the lineage of his powers, who he is, and everything like that. It's a coming of age story and him realizing his full potential. So it's something that I feel like a lot of people will be able to resonate with. And like I said, I really wanted the key landmarks to pop up. Like as you can see in the middle image there, the City Hall. You know, to the right of that, you get to see if people recognize that though. Welcome to Spaghettiville Bridge, you know, around like South Lowell. So I really wanted to turn that into the Welcome to Mill City there. And then towards the left, you get to see Lowell High School or Mill City High School. You get to see the Massachusetts mills and everything like that. I really wanted to seem authentic as possible. And that's what you get with Welcome to Mill City.
Love it.
So as I was already mentioning before, this year has just been a resounding success. And I feel like every year we've just gotten better and better and better. In August of 2020, we were featured on the Lowell Sun. That was amazing. It was a great turnout. Just seeing everyone reaching out to me and more opportunities and everything like that was a really a thing that I'm thankful for. After that, I was selected as the grand prize winner of IFA All Pitch Contest, where I got to pitch Welcome to Mill City. I was also awarded the MICE mini grant. MICE stands for Massachusetts Independent Comic Expo. They're pretty much like the biggest comic book organization in Massachusetts, and they were able to give me a grant and recognize me as one of the winners for Welcome to Mill City. They saw the book, and you know, I was able to get that that prize. So 2020 has been a great year, and it's just been, you know, awesome. And then after that, we went straight into our Kickstarter. So as you guys all know, we launched our Kickstarter in November, and it was funded over 254%. We had 123 backers. It was amazing. A lot of people supported that. And we had a lot of great prizes. We had a lot of limited edition books, special edition, and everything like that. Right now, we're going through the processing process. So we're just waiting to hear back from Kickstarter, and then we're going to start with the fulfilling, which is preparing for printing, shipping, and all that good stuff. So that's the journey, guys. That's Welcome to Mill City.
Wow. Standing ovation. Wow. And so much in such a short amount of time. Like, to me,
Right.
really short amount of time.
Yeah.
How has the pandemic influenced your work, if at all? Has it shifted anything for you?
Yes, some production issues, not really. I remember I was working with an artist in Italy, and they had I wanted to get on like a Zoom call or something like that, and it was tough for them because they couldn't even step outside, because I guess what's going on in at the time in that country was, it was very strict. Like you couldn't even come outside. It's going to be a problem. So I remember hearing that. I mean, for the most part, most of my artists work from home. It wasn't really that big of an issue. For printing, we were able to dodge the printing issues coming from China. We're just lucky to get the shipment or place the order right before everything was really crazy. So it hasn't been too bad. When it comes to getting our books in stores, when it comes to retail stores, that has been a little tough because, you know, coming in person, everyone wants a social distance and everything like that. So that's been a little bit of a challenge with our retail partners and things like that. But for the most part, it hasn't been too bad.
That's been good. That's great. Um, is there anything like I'm always curious when people have reached accomplished a goal. I won't say success, but reached a goal. Is there anything earlier in your journey that you would have told yourself, like any advice, anything you figured out now that you wish you knew before you embarked upon this?
Yeah. Yes, you want to embrace your network. People don't realize that they have a bigger network than they know. And to really step out of your comfort zone, um, I have gotten out of my shell a lot more than from what I was before. I was, tend to be a really shy individual, and I just wanted to stay within my own space. But I remember my professor, who at the time I always would butt heads because he'd always be like, Sam, get out there, get out there. I was like, but now I understand what he was saying behind that, because you really want to get yourself out there. You want to talk to people, you want to make an impression, because the people who are going to be your resources, those are the people who are going to be within your network. Um, so yeah, don't be shy to, to talk to people about what you love, about what you do. That's the main part. Yeah.
And do you have any like guiding philosophies as this, like you're a creative director, you also have another job. Like what is your whole I'm really curious about people's philosophies about just life and career. And um, what do you value most? Like what makes you feel happy at the end of the day?
That I'm doing what I love at the end of the day. That makes me happy, because I know that there's nothing else I would rather do than this. So that makes me happy all the time when I'm doing it. And sometimes too, it's like it's a coping mechanism too for me. If I'm feeling discouraged or anything like that, I go straight to work. What can I do to improve MCF? What can I do to continue to make MCF reach higher heights and everything like that. So just once you love it, everything's gonna come easier. It's like the best thing. You definitely want to love what you do.
And Sam, I'm going to add a question here, but I'm curious about the comic book industry. And I don't know about the difference between Massachusetts and like the broader industry, but you talked a lot about representation being really important. And I'm just curious about what's it like? Like I have never met a Black comic book creator in my life. So I'm curious, um, what is it like?
I mean, honestly, right now is the best time. Right now, is the best time. There's a lot of embracing going on with other cultures, especially Black culture and everything like that. A group that I'm closely affiliated with, Kugali, just actually got a partnership deal with Disney to do a new project that was actually announced at Disney's Investor Day. Investor Day. So it was great to see those guys out there, because again, it was a reminder to everyone who's a creator that this is not just a pipe dream. This can be something when you keep on knocking on those doors, when you keep on pushing. And just like the perfect time right now. So I mean, I feel like now is a better time than ever. To be of any nationality, to be diverse, because those stories are being embraced right now.
Mm, okay. And my last question before opening it up to Q&A is that this whole series was about highlighting artists of color that um, to me the city really has a great opportunity to do a better job with that. How can folks in the community support you? Like what do people artists that are where you're at right now need the most? How can the community help?
Definitely support artists. A lot of the artists I work with do commissions on the side. A lot of people don't know this too, but asking artists to do work for free is very disrespectful. So tend to try to support their work. Support their work in any way you feel that you can. Give them credit for their work as well. And in regards to MCF as well, we have a lot of merchandise available on our website. All of that helps with our production costs. All of that helps with marketing costs and everything like that. And that's what we need right now. So so definitely support as much as you can. The Kickstarter was a great success from people supporting, And that's what can happen when a community comes together to support an idea, to support a concept, so I just feel like that's the best thing that you can do. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's big into social media, comment what you like about it, write us a review. All that stuff helps a lot.
Great. Okay, everyone. So on Zoom or Facebook, you have any questions for Sam, go at it. We're here. In the meantime, while we wait for those to gather, what's bringing you joy right now, Sam? In the middle of, we're going through really hard times, difficult times, but what kind of fills you up right
The hunt for the PS5. Still trying to get one. Still trying to get my hands on it. It's been tough. It's been tough with that thing. I've been like on every drop. Walmart, GameStop, Target, everything just sells out within seconds.
now? Oh God. Somebody out there can like gift you.
I know, right? But yeah, video games is like a big thing for me. It takes up a lot of my time. A game that I'm enjoying right now is Star Wars. What's it called? Fallen Order, the Jedi Fallen Order. It's really good. I'm starting to become more of a Star Wars fan. I wasn't really that big into Star Wars like that, but I feel with some of the newer stuff, especially The Mandalorian. I watched the season finale last night. It's just amazing. I love the new Star Wars stuff, and that game is great. It's taking up a lot of my time. So
that's great. Let's see, I'm just checking. Oh gosh.
I mean, also too, while we wait, I have some goodies like the show. So here's a sample of the book, Welcome to Mill City. And as you can see here, the illustrations and everything, the artist really, really worked hard on it. You can see some of the, colors and everything like that. Everything, all the pages that you've seen from the trailer, everything is in here. We also have our book, Expecting a Hero, like I already talked about, that's available on the website right now. So this is about 70 pages. It's a lot bigger than Welcome to Mill City. But again, it has everything that, everything about the story, everything that was featured in the trailer, in the presentation, everything is there. It's available on the website right now. Also, starting today, I wanted to let you guys know that I'll be launching some new stuff that you can get your hands on. We have custom face masks if you want to be like Momolu, We have it in white, and then we also have it in black. So these will actually be passed out for free. It will be at random. So whenever you purchase anything on the website, whether it be a comic book, whether it be a hat, you could also win one of these face masks. So
that's great.
Definitely check it out. We also have some cool buttons too that also will be thrown in there. So, for some of you guys that are interested in collecting, that's another thing as well. We also have this 12 by 18 poster, pretty much this front cover for Welcome to Mill City. So you can get your hands on that. And it'll also be signed too. So I'll sign it. Don't worry about that. And you'll have it to add to your collection.
Great. Okay, so we do have a question. What is the youngest age that your readers are?
What is the youngest age? I remember getting a post, I want to say it was earlier this year, of a mother reading it to her son, and the son looked quite young. I wanted to say probably like 3 or 5. I will say that our audience is young adult. So anywhere from like 13 and up, but it's really for all ages. It's not mature or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about seeing mature content on there, but it's catered for a young adult audience.
Great. And Sam, looks like that might be the only question we have so far. Before we wrap, I would love to say, first of all, just thank you for your time, for sharing your story with everybody. I'm always surprised by people who have achieved their goals, how willing they are to kind of share the steps it took for them to reach their goals. I think it's a culture of transparency that I really love and appreciate from you for anyone out there who may want to do the same thing. Um, what would you say is next for Mill City's Finest? How much finer can it get?
Yes, I mean the biggest step is always, starting from what we initially wanted, right? Was for it to be an animated series. That is what we're aiming for. But like I said, at the same time, we want to be able to give people content, give people something to look forward to. Because when we first started, we just wanted to market it as, oh, this new animated series, Disney or whoever catch our attention and sign us. Hey, but it doesn't really work that way exactly. So we just decided to, switch to comic books just for right now, just to give people some sense of story, something to look at. And so whenever we do get signed, or whenever we do reach that point where it's an animated series and it's on, some streaming platform or network, there will be stories that will be adapted from the comic book. So people be like, oh, I recognize this. Oh, I know where this is going. And so for new people who are watching it, and then existing fans or fans who've always been there from the beginning, they'd be like, I know where this story is going. You got to keep on watching, type of thing. So it's a prize for them.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for your time. Do you mind shouting out where folks can find you again online?
Yes. So you can find me personally at Stevquoah Jr., STEVQUOAH JR on Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow Mill City's Finest. We have our official Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram platforms at MCF Series, MCF SERIES. And then you could visit our website where you can get a whole bunch of cool merch at mcfseries.com.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for everyone watching today. Special thank
Thank you.
for their support. We have 2 more episodes of this before we're done with the series, so stay tuned. And we'll also be posting this on our YouTube page over the next couple of days. So thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Saturday. Bye.
Bye, guys.